Hey everyone, it is Kai from WCC, and today we have a very interesting game sent by the one and only Ryan Kai. Now, if you don't know who Ryan Kai is, then now you do. He is one of the more famous Vanguard players around the world, actually. Well known for playing Shadow Paladin and Dark Irregulars, both of the edgy clans in Vanguard. But he has quite a few achievements as well, so if you want to check them out, I can't fit them in this frame right here. You probably have to check them out on our website at teamwcc.com. Yeah, because Ryan is also part of WCC, so good for us. But yeah, he's got a lot of tops. He's got so many achievements in Vanguard. I think he's one of the toppiest players in the world. Alright. So here on the left we do have Ryan Kai. He's playing Shadow Paladins in Standard today. And on the right we have Nick Yi, who is playing Link Joker. And since the Standard, it is probably going to be Messiah. Now, Ryan went first, so that's great. Wrote a brand one to search out a PBO, which is threatening. And he's developed a domain, which is amazing. The domain is searching out Dampwood, which searches out a Blaster Dark. So now it's pretty much all ready to just Superior Ride next turn, going first. Big tempo for Shadow Paladin. Now, unfortunately for Nick, Link Joker has to play a bit more safe. Well, not safe, but has to play fair, right? Doesn't get any Superior Ride shenanigans. Rides a Grade 3 Searcher, Lady Battler of the White Dwarf. Now, here we have to see if Nick decides to develop anything else. If he's able to develop a Manipulator of the Void, he can probably cheat out of Volko, and it's good times for him. Triggers a Volko there, but he played a very conservative turn. Doesn't really commit anything else, which is, I guess it's kind of fine. It's kind of fine, like Blaster Dark. Knows his opponent has a Blaster Dark. If he puts down anything, at least something disappears. And now we see Ryan do his very normal clinical play. Already had all the pieces. Superior rides into PvD and decides to go Force 1. Now, Nemain also wasn't used because he played the Bendy from his hand. So Nemain can search out another Nemain. And he also plays another Dampwood from hand to search out another Blaster Dark. And that also Soul Blasts the other Blaster Dark from Soul. Now, that's pretty interesting. He's playing multiple Dampwoods to get multiple Blaster Dark into his hand. Normally when you think of PBO, you want to keep all those blasters in the deck, but here he also develops a Masquerade. Now, when you see a Masquerade, what does that mean? Alright, it can only mean one thing. There's only one kind of archetype that wants Blaster Darks in their hand, like in the later game. That is Mordred. So maybe we're seeing some kind of interesting mixed kind of deck. You've got the Superior Ride engine mixed with the PBO, and then splash of Mordred, right? So on the trigger, Ryan was able to trigger a crit, which gives Nick 2 damage, and this means that he can start using some level Grade 2 abilities. Now, Link Joker can run things like Blast Monk to bind things. You also got Gastroll, which will let you cheat out cards and draw cards. And we can see Nick is just kind of pondering what he wants to do this turn. He needs to boost in order to hit anything, because opponent's Vanguard is 13k. He rides a Blast Monk, so this gives him some plays, right? So, unfortunately, a lot of the effects that Link Joker has to attack into the Vanguard. So he has to decide if he wants to boost. This Blast Monk has to decide if it wants to boost or not. If it wants to continue denying damage to Ryan. The thing is, Ryan only needs one Counterblast to pop off, right? PBO only requires one Counterblast, and that would just basically spell out 4 attacks anyway. Now, the Blast Monk has some options. It can bind the mains, and then by developing Gas Drawer, it can attack into the other domain to try and wipe all the mains off the board, but that's a pretty easy guard, alright? You can also decide to just bind the Masquerade and just get rid of that kind of threat from the game, because there's no way you can, like, the logic is there's no way to get rid of all the domains, so you might as well just go for it. The other thing is that he could just attack twice into the Vanguard, Gas Drawer to cheat out something, and basically deal no damage unless he gets a trigger. So, Blast Monk deciding to bind the main on the back row. Triggers nothing, unfortunately. And then Gastro comes down. Now he has to think about what he wants to do. Does he want to cheat, or does he want to attack into something? And you can't do both, because they all have to attack Vanguard. It's a hard decision. Well, the thing is, like, the other thing is also PBO, right? It can retire basically everything on Nick's side of the field. Anything that he cheats out can be gone. So Nick decides to go for the option to just call something out quicker and get that extra draw. And Ryan just goes for the PBO right. Now, it's pretty set up. 4 attacks here, has 1 CB already there. The main is still on the board, so that's great. It's great. He puts the force marker with the other force marker, the stack force markers. If we're playing something like Mordred, then sure, you know, that's kind of optimal because you can get your restanding on Blaster Darks. The main is going to call something. What does he call it? Probably maybe just quite a few options. You know, you can run Abyss Lao or Swordbreaker. I think everyone's swapped to Abyss Lao now. Calls for a Nemain instead. Just wants to keep the Nemain counts healthy on his side of the board. Plays down Abyss Lao actually and goes for the CB1 draw. That's kind of interesting because that means he can't really use PBO's effect, and PBO's effect would be devastating here. But he plays a very, very interesting card, and even Nick comes down and takes a look at it. It's Nene's, right? So what this card does, you rest 3 regards on your side of the field, and then you countercharge, or both players countercharge 1 and soul charge 1. So it's pretty useful for to just get out of those situations for Shadow Paladin, because Shadow Paladin doesn't really have an active way to get their counter. Like, the counter charge that Shadow Paladin gets is more like a refund from Charon's and all that. But this actually lets you be able to get that counter charge when you're, like, all face down, you know? So, PBO is able to pop off. He retires 2 to get rid of 2 of... Basically just field wipe his opponent. Able to get another attacker as well to stain his field at 10k. Well, it's actually 20k. Still hits the Vanguard. Basically everything hitting great. So there's going to be a lot of damage coming in from on Nick's side. Now, the other thing is that Nene's also kind of enables you, as long as you have the pressure, you basically win more. Because here, Nick is going to take a lot of damage, and it's quite possible he doesn't use all that damage up the next turn. So if he's not able to use up all that damage, then what is the point, right? That extra counter charge he got doesn't really help him that much in the immediate term, right? In the short term. And we also see that a Danger Lunge was also triggered. Now, it kind of makes sense because, you know, it's like running every single grade 3 now. But if he's stacking those force markers, he's basically saying, you know, sooner or later, you're going to be eating a lot of damage. That Danger Lunge is going to become huge. So, this turn, Nick will be able to ride to grade 3 in this grade 3 turn. I don't know how he's going to play this turn, though, because it's looking kind of bad for him. Does he want to deal damage to Ryan? Because even if he gives Ryan 1 damage, then there's still 4 attacks coming in, and Nick's hand doesn't look great. It doesn't look like there's a lot of cards in his hand. It goes for the Force 2. Looks like he's going to use the skill of Alter Ego Messiah. Calls out a Volko. But it really comes down to if he has the unlocker order in his hand or not, or otherwise it's just going to be a pretty lame turn. He actually decides to just call out the gas drawer instead. So maybe it's if he's doing that, then right, maybe this is more a development turn. He's you want Volkos basically win you the game, but right now there is no way he's gonna win. His opponent still is like on 1 damage while you're on 4. I think this is the correct play here. Nick attacks into the Masquerade, triggers a crit. So what he can do is he can attack into the Masquerade, attack into the Blaster Dark, and just kind of pass. Don't give his opponent any damage. Make him have to use an NAs in order to get that counter charge. But he triggers a crit, puts it on the Gastoro, which is kind of interesting. Gastoro will be dealing 3 damage next turn. Triggers another crit. Okay. That's pretty good. So that if he puts it on Gastoro there, yeah, it's like a 4 crit Gastoro. But that Blast Monk is not hitting though. Both Blast Monk and Gastoro, of course, have to attack the Vanguard. He's actually putting 1 on the Blast Monk. That Blast Monk's only swinging for like, or it will be swinging for like 30, right? 30 with a crit. So it is still guardable on Ryan's side, but I think Ryan will just take it. But then he has to guard the 3 crit Gastoro. So okay. And then Gastoro can just call down and then just get a card. So here comes if he wants to use the Blast Monk effect, he has to attack Vanguard, and he can like bind a Blaster Dark, right? That's probably the best target for him to do. He's still thinking where he wants to attack through. So the Masquerade's gone from the Alter Ego's attack. He swings into the PBO. So he's just not gonna bother not like denying damage here. He's just gonna swing in. He's able to bind out the Blast Duck anyway. That's fine. So yeah, so he binds the Blast Duck. So Ryan here is just no guards. Takes it. We see a Mordred. All right, so yes, it is a pretty spicy build. All right, Mordred, Danger Lunges, PBOs, PBDs. 2 Mordreds go into damage zone. And this Gastro is swinging with 3 crit. 3 crit. And that's like, what? 30k? Yes. 30k? Okay, yep. So it is guarded. It was actually a lethal attack, so it was a forced guard. And now it's back to Ryan's turn. Now, Ryan, what is he gonna do? Is he gonna stick with his... Nah. He's got his Mordred, and he's got the 3 force markers required to do Danger Lunge as well, which is perfect, because Nick is at 4 damage. That Danger Lunge coming in. Doesn't have a lot of hand either, so something has to give. This domain is searching for another card too. Gotta thin that deck. What does he search for? Searches for an Abyssal Owl, and here you can use the Soul Blast skill of Abyssal Owl if you want to draw a card. You can actually choose. You can use Counter Blast or Soul Blast. The Counter Blast might actually be better, to be honest, because his soul is kind of valuable. They're all grade 3s. So, oh wait, no. There's actually a... Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. He Soul Charge something. He Soul Charge a crit from the Nenes, probably. So, okay. Soul Blast the crit. That's fine. Gets a draw. Plays a Blast Dark, and... Okay, he's just gonna stack. He's just gonna stack it all. Stack it all on that one for that Danger Lunge. This Danger Lunge is gonna be tough. Even though he has the Danger Lunge with the crit, though, the correct play is still swinging with the other cards first. Even if his opponent takes damage, quite unlikely that he'll be able to guard the Danger Lunge, even with a trigger. Especially with the no Sentinel hand, no Sentinel ability. Nick's hand is not very big anyway, so you can kind of push that 7 damage threshold. The Blast Duck is swinging into the Blast Monk though, just because it doesn't have any power boost. And getting rid of Intercept is pretty good. Mordred comes in, he uses the effect, stands the Blaster Dark. This Mordred's only like 13k though, so it's very easy to guard this. It's like a 15k for 2, it's fine. Just basically calculating hand now, just to make sure everything is going, he's got enough, or he doesn't have enough. He has to know when to just take the damage. But yeah, this is a very interesting Shadow Paladin build. Basically, no guards the Vanguard attack. Triggers a draw. Puts the power on Danger Lunge. Or is he going to put it in Blast Duck? He puts it on Danger Lunge. That Danger Lunge is fat. It's fat. Yo-Yo Man goes to damage. Blast Duck should be swinging here first, just to poke. And that Danger Lunge is huge, man. It is huge. No Sentinel as well, so... Yeah, it's rough times to Nick. He probably, if he can guard at least the Danger Lunge, he should take this one. And he takes it and no trigger, so... Ryan Kai forcing the handshake there, but boys, don't do that at home. Because, well, you probably can do it at home, but remember, social distancing, guys. So, that's it. Very interesting build from Ryan Kai. He's got a splash of nearly every single Shadow Paladin grade 3. Like, no Claret, but, I mean, Claret gets better later on. Not now, but, yeah, that's very interesting deck. So, hope you guys like this video. Hope you guys like Ryan Kai and his decks. And he actually has a YouTube channel as well, so you can go check it out. He does some interesting stuff, like games and Digimon and karaoke. So if you want to check out the personality, links in the description. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Join our Discord and like and subscribe. Bye.